said to be undecided at this point. How important is it to get your message today out to folks who live in the hometown of one of your main competitors?
It is extremely important, and that's what we're doing with all of these good volunteers, all of my interns that I have. We also have telephone calls going out from people like, or groups like the NRA, the National Rifle Association, that endorses me. National Right to Life, the Tennessee Right to Life, because they endorse me, and the American Conservative Union. And what's important about these is that these are people who score you. And unless you have a good score, you don't get endorsed. I also have the Vice President of the United States endorsing me. I've worked with him in Congress. I've worked with him to pass the tax reform. He knows I'm a worker and that I get the job done. And so these are people who will speak for me, not just me saying that I'm going to be a good governor, but others that have worked with me to say, Diane Black knows how to get the job done. And I'm very proud of those endorsements. Okay, any other questions? Did you have a question?
I have a couple, Congresswoman.
Okay.
Let me start with the cliche question. How does it feel to be in the home stretch? I mean, we're hours away from the big day, and what has this been like, and how excited are you that it's almost over?
You know, it's been a year on the trail, and I can tell you I've met so many wonderful people. That's a big part of being on the campaign trail, is that you not only get a chance to talk about yourself, but you get a chance to listen. And listen to what people say that they need and what their communities need. And that helps me to be a better candidate, helps me to be a better governor in understanding what the needs are of our great state from one side to the other.
Yeah, you know, looking back, I believe the GOP primary in Kentucky was decided by 83 votes. How close do you think it will be in Tennessee, and what do you think you can do to maybe make up the difference in the next day?
Well, we know that it's going to be close, but we know that we have been ahead for the most part, and that we feel like if we do our work today with the telephone calls that we're making and the doors that we're knocking, that we're going to have folks who are undecided hear the message, and they'll go to the polls tomorrow and they'll vote for Diane Black.
Congressman, go ahead, Brian.
Oh, that's all right. You, I've noticed that from Greene County to Chattanooga, you've had some form of organization in every county. Not all of your opponents have had that. Would you just talk briefly about your team, both not only led by Allie here, but everybody else across the state, and the type of
Yes.
the type of team you put together?
Yes, and that is essential. And I can't do this myself, it's very obvious. My team that I have put together across the state is unlike any of the other candidates. Allie is in charge of the area here. We have over 100 interns that have been out knocking doors. We've knocked over 500,000 doors. 500,000 doors. No other campaign has done that. But I'm a true believer in that. I've always won my races by retail politics, by just getting out there, meeting people where they are, and asking for their vote. The telephone calls that have been done. Allie, do we know how many telephone calls have been done over the last,
Is it like 300,000?
over 300,000 calls that have been made? This makes a difference, and it is the team that we have put together. And look, I'm going to give them all the credit tomorrow night as well, that I can't do this alone. Obviously, I can't do this alone. It is my team and all of these, especially young, energetic interns, who I'm so proud to say that we've got a whole group of young interns who believe in conservative governance, and that's who's going to take over our country. I'm very proud of that.
Do you have any idea how much money's been spent from I know there was one outside third-party interest that was running some negative campaigns against you. You have any idea how much money's come in against you just by third parties, other than your other 3 or 4 opponents?
I haven't added all that up, but I can tell you it's well over $1 million. Well over $1 million. And yet we still are where we are, and we're doing well, and we're going to continue to do that because people want to know the individual. And again, with young folks that are out knocking doors, and with me being everywhere I can be, they're getting to meet the real Diane Black.
Congressman, there's been some criticism of what has been called negative attack ads, but because some folks may not be as well read or as well versed on some of the candidates' campaigns in the governor's race, the negative or contrast ads provide an important aspect of this campaign. Do you regret showing the contrast between you and your other three main competitors?
Look, I've run this race 3/4 of the time with just who I am and what I've done, and that's what I need to do. When it comes to the end where you're being beat up the way I have been beat up for months and months and months with millions and millions and millions of dollars, there is time where you have to tell who your opponents are. And two of the opponents that I have in this race really are not people who have been out there for many years as I have been, and so you do a contrast, as you've said.
Well, just one last thing. East Tennessee, sort of as a whole, our region, how do you think it will play a part in tomorrow night's results? Do you feel good about East Tennessee?
I do feel good about East Tennessee. Our polls have been really good, and part of that is the fact that we've gotten out there with our message, that we've been everywhere. And I feel good about East Tennessee. Our numbers look good here, and we're just gonna work all the way to the end and make sure that people know Diane Black is for East Tennessee.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all